Hello everyone, welcome to today's lesson. Today we are going to learn about something very interesting, that is our universe. Now, the important points in today's lesson are the sun, the moon, the stars, Indian astronomers, and people in space. Now, before we go ahead in the lesson, here is something to boost up your knowledge. You must have seen many stars in the sky. Now, there is a star that shines very brightly in the sky. Can you name that star? That star is the sun. All the bright objects that we see in the sky are called heavenly bodies. They are very far away from us, and we can see only a few of them from Earth. So let us learn about them. Now, did you know the sun belongs to a group of stars called the Milky Way or the Akash Ganga? So let's start with the first heavenly body, the sun. The sun is a huge ball of hot gases. It is a star. It gives us light and heat. The energy which we get from the sun is called the solar energy. It rises in the east in the mornings and sets in the west in the evening. The sun is bigger than the earth. The earth is about 150 million kilometers away from the sun. The sun is the closest star to the earth. The temperature on the surface of the sun is about 54,000 degrees centigrade. Now let's talk about our neighbor, which is the moon. The moon is a satellite of the earth. It means the moon goes around the earth. The moon is smaller than the earth. It has no light of its own. It shines because it reflects the light of the sun. There is no air or water on the moon. So it is a lifeless world. The moon changes its shape every day. The day we see the full moon is called Purnima, and the day when the moon is not visible is called Amavasya. You can see the different shapes of the moon in this picture. Now, did you know the moon is about 3,85,000 kilometers away from the earth, and you can jump up to 6 times higher on the moon than you can on the earth. Now, about something you've all seen, the stars. The stars twinkle at night like tiny bulbs. They have their own light and they are fixed at one place. Some stars are very big. They are bigger than the sun. They look small to us because they are very far away from us. The pole star or Dhruva Tara is a famous star. It remains at one place in the north direction. Now, let's talk about constellations. Some stars form a special pattern in the sky. A group of stars that forms a special pattern is called a constellation. Some famous constellations are the Ursa Major, known as the Great Bear, the Scorpio, the Orion, known as the Hunter, and Leo, the Lion. So far, scientists have identified 88 constellations. Indian astronomers. Astronomers are people who study the stars, the moon, and the planets. Aryabhatta, Varahamihira, and Bhaskara were great Indian astronomers. Aryabhatta was the first astronomer who said that the earth was round in shape and rotated on its own axis. India named its first satellite Aryabhatta to honor this great astronomer. Now, did you know Russia was the first country to send in an artificial satellite to space? The scientists called it Sputnik, and the first animal that went into space was a dog. People in space. A person that goes into space is called an astronaut. Astronauts go into space in a spacecraft. Neil Armstrong was the first person to land on the moon in 1969. Two other astronauts, Edwin Aldrin and Michael Collins, also went with Neil Armstrong. They went to the moon in a spacecraft called Apollo 11. Some Indians have also been to space. Rakesh Sharma was the first Indian to go into space in 1984. Kalpana Chawla was the first Indian woman to go into space in 1997. She again went into space in 2009, but she died when a space shuttle crashed on the return journey. Sunita Williams was the second woman of Indian origin to go into space in 2007. She stayed in space for a record time of 195 days. Here is a quick sum up of today's lesson. The sun, moon, and stars are called heavenly bodies. The sun provides us with light and heat. The moon is a natural satellite of the earth. The shape of the moon changes every day. People that go into space are called astronauts. Now, here is a glossary of today's lesson. Rotation means spinning motion. Axis, it is an imaginary line that passes through the center of a sphere. Satellite, a body that travels around a planet. Artificial, something which is not natural. So here is a mind map of today's lesson. The universe consists of many heavenly bodies like the sun, the moon, and other stars. A group of stars that form a pattern are called constellations. Many people have been in space. People that go to space are called astronauts. Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, and Michael Collins were the first people to step foot on the moon in 1969. Indians that have been to space are Rakesh Sharma, who was the first Indian in space, Kalpana Chawla, who was the first female Indian in space, and Sunita Williams, the second woman of Indian origin to go to space.